Coaches, what's going on? It's Coach Ian Tatum here, back with another clinic video. Today, I'm joined by a really special guest, Coach Kenny Simpson. Coach, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, everybody, I don't know if you're under a rock or anything like that, you know who Kenny Simpson is, right? You know the gun T system. If you don't, you should. But you should be looking into it. Coach has been gracious to come on and talk to us a little bit about who he is and the gun T or anything he's doing. Coach, I really appreciate that. Kind of do a little bit of a short introduction on yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Yeah, I'll keep it brief because I know you probably got other things you want to make sure we get to. But so I've been coaching now for, probably 22, 23 years. Started out in Alabama, coached defensive side of the football for a while over there, became a DC, became a head coach in Montgomery, Alabama, my first job, and was able to kind of be a part of two different turnarounds as an assistant and then as a head coach there. Watched two schools, Madison Academy and Alabama Christian Academy, go from not as good to a little bit better, and kind of watched how those guys did it. Then moved to Arkansas, took over at Southside Batesville, which is where I am now, or Southside Charter is what we've turned into. But school that had not won a game in 3 years and had 5 wins in their whole history. And so had to kind of put some of those things to practice. And we had some rough years doing that. Took a 1-year hiatus at Searcy High School, a 6A school out here in Arkansas. Really good people. And then started producing books. So if you know me, that's probably where you've heard of me from before. And when that happened, I got extremely busy doing that, which is a really cool deal. Tried to step back out of being a head coach. Went back to Southside as an assistant. And then the way, God works in mysterious ways, the head coach got a job somewhere else. They've promoted me back to being a head coach. So kind of almost right back where I was. This past year, we were very blessed. We went 13-1 and went to the semifinals, and it was a great year. Of course, everybody knows that's all accredited to good players and good assistant coaches. So that's kind of in a nutshell my career.
Yeah. So, like you say, you're talking about selling books and doing a lot of different things. And I know me personally, you've almost in a indirect way have helped me a lot, whether it be your Facebook group, been approving my posts. I post on there, kind of advertising what we do. I really do appreciate all of that stuff. And I know a lot of my buddies, we all have the Offense Coordinator Academy. We have the book. Mine's up on the shelf right now. But yeah, all those different workbooks you have, it's really been really good. Coach, kind of talk about what kind of motivated you to do those workbooks and kind of putting out content, trying to help other coaches?
Well, back in 2019, we had a pretty good year. I wrote my first book I'd ever written. I thought I just wanted to do one, kind of a bucket list deal. I'd like to do a book. We did one, and it was received really well. That was Find a Way. And so a lot of guys, it's a real simple, short book. It went really well. Well, COVID hit like right then, boom. And now you're locked in. I'm locked in a basement pretty much, and you're locked inside your house, and you're not doing a whole lot. And so I don't really golf or hunt or any of that stuff. So I started, I'm just going to work on football stuff, and started putting out stuff on YouTube and putting stuff out in books. And it's amazing how social media can be not good, but also can be extremely good in helping you connect, with other people. And so watching the way it was received by coaches and being able to connect with guys, really across the globe was really cool to just be able to help guys. And so that's kind of how we've started this. I guess you can call it a business at this point. It wasn't intentionally that, but as people have said, hey, what would help me is this, or what would help me is that. We've started producing materials to do that because there's just not a lot. There's not a lot out there that can help coaches. This good materials, quality materials. So we have the Offensive Coordinator Academy, like you mentioned. That's not just my offense. It was, how can we help guys that want to do this and want to do it in a good way? And I was able to connect with some really bright minds in that world to put together the academy. And then we flipped over and did a defensive one, same deal. So kind of basically a how-to for anybody, first-year guy to a 30th-year guy. How can I be better at my job? And then we did the same thing with the head coaching world. That's one of my favorite workbooks, is that head coach workbook, because it's, to me, if you get that, and all of these things are not just read it, it's you actually go through it and you put in what you're doing. And so to me, it almost makes it more valuable for a coach to go through. It's something I've done myself. And it's amazing how 2020, I started doing this, 2019, 2020. And as a coach personally, I've gotten so much better, I feel like. And being able to connect with other coaches that I was able to help them. That's what really motivates us to do this. You know, I'm sure I'll have other books coming out in the future, but really it's pretty much what people want. You know, what can help a coach. That's what we're going to try to produce.
Yeah. It's crazy how you talk about, you know, like the workbook is it's not, you're not pushing what you do is pushing what you can create, right? Or you fall into a system. So with that, I love the workbook. But because let's talk about your system a little bit, the gun tee. I know a lot of people are going towards that way. Old school football, if you want to, with a, I'll say with a new tone on it, so shotgun. But I know I have several friends here that we're going to your clinic, and I'll have you kind of promote that in a minute. We're going to your clinic in Charlotte area. Talk about your system, where it came from, how you developed it, kind of those things.
Yeah. So I mentioned I coached in Alabama. Out there, I was blessed with some pretty good athletes, and so we were spread. I was a Tony Franklin guy, and he does some really good stuff. Big fan of what Tony Franklin's doing. It was working for us, so that's what we did. Well, I come to Arkansas, and I try to just basically, you know, cut and paste, take what was working there, and bring it here to a school that hadn't won very much. And we were able to win some games, but we weren't able to get anywhere near where I thought we could get. And then the worst comes to worst, we went 0-10, I think maybe my second or third year here. And managed to lose a bunch of really close games, but we had to find something different. So I had to learn the wing tee. I had defended the wing tee in Alabama as a DC under a head coach who had run the wing tee, so I'd seen it, but I really didn't know the nuances of it. So I had to learn from guys like Roger Holmes and guys that are wing tee, you know, really intelligent guys, Rick Stewart's in that world. I had to kind of learn, how are they doing things? How can I take the spread stuff that I already know and make this more of a modern type offense? Because I knew the spread world. I wanted to run the spread type stuff. There's nothing wrong with under center at all. Obviously, you can be very successful in that. But we wanted something a little bit different. And I felt like at that point I had studied Noel Mazzoni. Gus Malzahn was really hot at that point around Arkansas. So how can we kind of look at these guys and make something that would work at a high school level that, you know, and I actually – ironically, now I actually work with several colleges. I just do it more of as a consultant. They don't run our complete offense, but they run lots of it. You probably saw it in a couple bowl games if you watched. So it's been really cool to see, okay, this can work at even the highest level, but it's made for, you know, the high school team where you don't know what kind of athletes you're going to get year to year. Yeah. Like, I don't know what kind of quarterback I'm going to have. I don't know what kind of running back I'm going to have. So we wanted an offense that would basically fit what we had and was adaptable. I felt like under center wing tee, there were some limitations with it that I didn't want to go down that road. You know, 2x2 spread, there's some limitations there. The based on personnel can really hurt you. So we wanted more of an adaptable hybrid type system. And then I was a huge fan of the RPO. I still am. I think the RPO is obviously just taking over everything. So we're trying to continue to grow that each year. And then this year we got into a ton of unbalanced and a ton of empty stuff with the same we were running. So that's why we kind of created it. It's been really cool to see it help. It's actually running in all 50 states now, which is really neat to see those guys and see what they're doing with it. And then those groups you mentioned, those Facebook groups and different groups we've created, I'm able to see ideas that guys are running, you know, over in Arizona or in California. You go, man, that's pretty cool. How can we maybe make this work into what we're doing too?
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Coach, you kind of went into a little bit X's and O's. Let's kind of dive into a little nuts and bolts. I know following you, you're a big buck guy. You know, buck sweep is big, especially in the wing tee, especially for you guys. What else do y'all what do you kind of, not everything you do, but kind of like your base runs and maybe some basic passing concepts that y'all, you know, run with your gun tee?
Yeah, we try to live in what we call the rule of three. And you know, basically when we're installing this for somebody who's doing it new, we say try to live with three, you know, 3 strong side runs. We are a strong and a quick, and that's very different than a lot of people. which means our linemen actually play strong side and quick side, so it's not right and left. We have a wing attached to the strong side 90% of the time unless we move them around. And then we have twins away. So you really have the ability, in my mind, in the passing game to do whatever you're comfortable with in the quick game. That's what we tell people. If you like smash or you like slot fade or you like choice game or you like go out, whatever you're comfortable with in that world, pick your three you're going to kind of major in the passing game. But then we have our run game, as we call that kind of the Bible of the system. Like this is stuff you need to run this, but you're not going to be really successful running the whole system. So we run buck, like you mentioned. We run more of a pin and pull that we call Trojan. Okay. And then we have an inside run, which is more of a power insert type play. We call it belly just because that's the wing tee terminology, but that's not really what it is. Then on the quick side, we run counter, which is the double handoff, old school double handoff. We can also run out of empty and run RPOs with it. And then we run quick belly, which is basically a power insert to the quick side. And then we run jet. We run jet back to the quick side. So those are really our 6 base runs. Year to year, if we've been doing it for a while, we may throw in a 4th one. At Cersei, we've been running inside zone. So we ran inside zone because they knew how to do it. So we ran split zone as kind of a 4th run. This year for us, we ran some GT, which is new to us this year. We played with it. And then we run everything we run, we can RPO off of or play action off of. So we have waggle, old school, play action. Then we have strong side, kind of we call it buck pass, but basically some kind of combo with our tight end wing. And then everything we do is taggable. So you can tag off of it. So, you've only got 6 runs, a couple play actions. It sounds very simple, and it is, until we start throwing, 20 different RPO looks at you and 30 formations. And so that's kind of how we try to make our money, is being complicated with our alignment and our motions and our shifts and our trades and then our RPO game, but simple with our rules so that our kids can learn all that stuff.
Yeah. So you definitely prescribe to the formations are cheaper and concepts are more expensive.
Absolutely. That's why we put those books out. We got that 98 formations and 90 formations and working on one now. Basically, we're looking at I was a defensive coordinator, so I know how that affects them. Like when you throw out unbalanced empty, that creates all kinds of problems. So what we've kind of forced defenses to do that play us is they can either play a very simple cover 3 look, and you're somewhat okay with that, or straight man. So we've been getting, those are the teams that play us that, give us the most, not issues, but actually align correctly to most stuff. Teams that are trying to do anything else have an extremely hard time getting lined up and getting enough hats in the box.
Yeah, love it. I love unbalanced. I think it's more people are coming on to it, but I feel like it's still, especially for defense coordinators, they might see unbalanced in a whole season, maybe 3% of plays. So they're not going to spend a lot of time on it. So it's definitely an advantage for people. It's easy, I think. I mean, if you can get your kids to line up, I think it's pretty simple. But Coach, I wanted to get go ahead.
So on unbalanced too, you think about like if you're a defensive coordinator and you want to play man, that's usually when we run a lot of unbalanced. We see man to man. If you're going to man up the tight end, that guy is almost an extra run fitter. He's a safety. He's over the tight end. Our tight ends block 80, 90% of the time, so he's just going to come fit on everything. Well, now we stick the tight end on the backside and bring a tackle over. If you're going to play us in man, you kind of lose that extra fitter. And we've noticed that's been a huge advantage because we don't want to see man-to-man and think, well, we got to throw it every down. They're man-to-man. Like, that's not who we are. That's not really what we're going to do. So that's been a good answer if you're trying to run any offense, really, and you're getting man zero or man free or whatever it is, you still want to run the ball. If you go unbalanced and stick your eligibles away from where you're running it, they lose those run fitters.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I want to get you want to go ahead and promote your clinic. I would love for you to do that on this platform.
Sure, man. I appreciate you having me on. So we're doing the gun tee clinics, 9 different cities. So we're starting off in Charlotte. Looking forward to meeting Coach, and I think that one's getting close to full at this point. We try to keep them around 100 guys because more than that, these clinics are different. they're not like there's nothing wrong with glaziers or other clinics. Those are great clinics to go to. Our clinics are much more specific to guys that want to learn this system. So we want to have guys have the ability to ask questions, to get everything answered. We do on-field demonstrations with our players. So it's a really different type of clinic. So because of that, we don't like having a ton of guys. Like 100's about really where I want to cap it so you can get all your questions answered. Mm-hmm. So Charlotte's about full. I think we've got a little bit of room left. We're going to Phoenix, the national clinics in Arkansas. Then we have clinics going in Portland. We have clinics going in Boston, Wisconsin, Texas, Alabama this year. So excited to connect with coaches all across. If you're interested in coming to one of those, all that stuff's over at fbcoachsimpson.com, or you can just email me or hit me up, and I'll kind of connect you where it's going.
For sure, guys. And I'll have Coach's information down in the description where everybody can find that. But, Coach, I really do appreciate you coming on and kind of talking a little ball and who you are and what you do, and I really do appreciate that, Coach.
Man, thanks for what you do. Putting out content like this for coaches is pretty cool. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.